all back and forth between Leafs, Hurricanes, boring, exciting. Just an incredible finish to it. The Leafs finally pulling out a 60-minute game. Welcome to the new episode of the Leafs Line podcast. I'm the host today, Evan Davis, and I'm joined with the amazing crew, Mario Russo, Jared Rotenberg, and Adama Rimoli. Boys, that was so boring for the first 20 minutes. And then I would say when Matthews scored late in the second was when I believe, late in the second was when it started to pick up for the Leafs. It seemed like intensity was a huge pickup. I'll go start with you, Jared, because I heard your excitement as well. What were your thoughts on the game overall? What grade would you give it? I'll say that too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think about the grades, so I'll go back to that after. But overall, I thought we played a solid game. I liked what I saw pretty much from start to finish. But at least for the start of the game, I'm gonna give credit to the Carolina Hurricanes because I mean they're a cup contending team. They're actually currently my pick to win the Stanley Cup, and we saw why tonight. Where it's just there's such a even when they're playing a boring style of play, they're so strong defensively that despite maybe you look at the shot counter of we're getting 15 shots on net. But all of them are from such low danger chances where a lot of the time after we were firing shots from the boards because we couldn't get any closer to the net. Like they just play such a solid defensive style that really they defended in front of their goaltender so well that credit to them. They played a great defensive game. And then later on, as it kind of went, I was talking to Mario about this in the opening where I'm not sure if it's more I attribute it to the Carolina Hurricanes got weaker defensively or just the Leafs found confidence and picked it up. Like I'm not really sure what I'd attribute that to. But regardless, the Leafs were able to find kind of momentum, able to get pucks close to the net in more dangerous chances. And we started burying 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden we got a game out of it. I don't know what the hell Justin Hall was doing on that third goal. I was so scared that was going to be the game-winning goal because I feel bad for him, but to an extent, because that is just unacceptable, but also he would get murdered online if that ended up being the game-winning goal. Because he lost the puck, which fair, sometimes weird bounces happen, but there's no excuse to lose a 6 foot tall man that just you let him so easily sneak by you as you're spinning around in circles looking for the puck. Like absolutely unacceptable. But I mean, the boys ended up finding a way to get the win. Mitchell Marner wearing his jersey right now with 2 goals tonight, including the game winner in overtime. And as much as during January, a lot of times, sure, we're getting a lot of wins, but they were against weaker teams. This is against a cup contending team. And as much as we can't purely let the end score and the fact that we won kind of cloud our judgment, I do think we played as close to a 60-minute game as we've seen in the last few. And I mean, we're on a 6-game winning streak right now. So I think there was a lot of positive signs to kind of take away from that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a grade. I definitely wouldn't say it was perfect. I'm not giving it A+ or A or anything like that, but I think like a solid B+. Like we played a solid hockey game against a very good defensive team. I think they shut us down a little bit defensively earlier, so that's maybe what takes away from my ranking. But as the game kind of went, we found our footing a little bit, and we ultimately won the game. So a lot of positive signs.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't believe that Marner was that open on the third goal. Like I felt so bad for Freddie. Like you talk about all the defensive mindedness on that team, and then Mitch Marner could have ordered a cup of coffee and still had enough time to score. I just couldn't believe he was that open. Mario, what were your thoughts on the game? Anything you want to touch up on what Jared said, piggyback off of that?
Yeah, for sure. Jared, you mentioned like if that was going to be the game winner, it would be brutal. And we saw a goal, or not even a goal. If you recall, Sandin in the defensive end in overtime, he picked off a pass that was going straight to the open man. You want to talk about these young guys stepping up. That's a big opportunity there. I know in the last couple of days when we didn't have much hockey to talk about, Kyle Dubas had his own press conference or whatever you want to call it. And he was really praising how he wanted to see much more use out of Liljegren and Sandin. And I think we saw that perfectly on display in this game. That was a tremendous play that I noticed on the most part from this game. And if I'm giving this game a grade, it's got to be with you, Jared, B+. I wouldn't give them an A because it wasn't perfect. They didn't absolutely shut down the Carolina Hurricanes, but they did what they had to do. And they won the game against the Carolina Hurricanes. That's the big piece. They got the 2 points. Usually what we've been seeing over the last couple of months that they only get the 1 off of the good team. They got the 2, didn't go to a shootout, which is bonus points in my eyes. I don't got to actually watch that. And no, it was a terrific finish. And I can't be the only one that dozed off in that first period because that was bad. It was brutal.
That was so bad. I couldn't watch it. But yeah, what Mario was referencing, I believe it was Sebastian Aho who made he was trying to feed Tony DeAngelo backdoor and Rasmus Sandin. I mean, I thought that was the game right there. And then Sandin just had other plans. And You mentioned Liljegren. He had the assist on Marner's game-tying goal. Adamo, is there anything else you want to add to the game? Any notes you had made?
Yeah. If you guys wanted my grade, I'm actually gonna go bias leaf homer here and say like A minus A, because
Come on.
you guys
come
are
on.
too negative, man. You guys are so negative.
Oh.
Cheer up, guys. Jared,
Someone
you're
rubbed
always
off on
negative.
me.
Yeah, my
Um,
bad.
no, and
Is this an Uno reverse card?
It is because
I live for it.
No, I like they play the way they played. It's basically because you know how good the Carolina Hurricanes are, and I feel like there weren't many plays where, you know, Marazza had to make a sprawling, incredible save. I feel like for the most part, shots were kept to the outside, rush chances were somewhat limited. You're not going to prevent them in such a like high power offense and defense like the Hurricanes. I think Mrazek kind of let a soft one or two, especially the D'Angelo one, like 8 seconds in. That normally takes the wind out of your sail.
Ridiculous.
But I like how they bounced back that period. You know, early goal goes in. Normally, you know, we've seen that takes the wind out of your sail. Yeah, you're done. And then awful Mitch Marner. That's a goal scorer's goal, man. Like that goal should never have happened, but because of the way he's been playing.
Wait, I'm sorry. Which
pick one. They were both goal scorers.
Oh, okay. Goals. I didn't know which one you were referring to.
I was referring to his first goal on Anderson, where although there was no one back there, that looked like a routine catch in the glove for Anderson. He just kind of bobbled it right to Marner, and like you got to be good to be lucky, and lucky to be good, and that's Mitch Marner.
Did I just hear Rimoli say Marner and goal scorer's goal in the exact same sentence? I don't think I've ever heard those two words.
Because he's on fire. And you know,
somebody clip this.
He was bound to regress because Mitch Marner is not a 60-point player.
No.
He's probably not a 150-point player either, like he's playing right now.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
You could find, you know, something in the middle. I sent on a tweet. I'm surprised Jared didn't screenshot it. I said two true things. Number one, Mitch Marner's undeniably been the best player in the world in the year 2022. And two, it doesn't matter until the playoffs. It doesn't matter until we see it in April.
That's both true.
But building these habits towards April, you know, Marner shooting more, learning how to shoot. I didn't know he could shoot. And I still don't think he can shoot.
Put in chocolate chips in those muffins. I'll tell you.
A lot of his.
Those two goals were both on the ground, like both on the ice.
Like pretty simple. Like you saw him maybe on his goal streak. He sniped on a goalie. Maybe three of them.
One big slap shot that went bar down. He had a looking like Chara out there.
And then I think he had one that went like bar down or something. Was it the power play one? I don't remember, but. Yeah, I don't think he has a great. Fair. I don't think he has a great shot, but he has an adequate shot where it can become a threat. That's what I want to see out of Marner. And maybe he's worth it if he can pot 30 with 80 assists and not be a detriment in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were gonna Marner 10 goals, 19 points in his last 8 games during this 8-game point streak. Fire. Yeah, Matthews, unfortunately, a little. Not as bad as a John Tavares situation, but probably level 1 of that situation.
It's a head injury. It's so hard to judge. Like, it's just scary seeing.
I don't know. It didn't. I mean, he was able to get up on his own, which is the positive sign.
That's promising.
But I mean, obviously a little bit of whiplash. I can't imagine him getting up jumpy, but the fact that he was able to walk on his own just probably will give Leaf fans a boatload more of confidence that it's not something as serious. I mean, he definitely could still be a concussion, but just something that takes him out for a week. But still, 6 straight season with 30 goals. Unreal. He has 6 goals in his last 3 games. I mean, you want to talk about Marner. I mean, these two guys have just been carrying the load for the Maple Leafs during this 6-game winning streak, to say the least. I do want to jump into the month of February, which we already played a few games here, but now the Leafs have 10 games in 21 days, which they got a lot of games where they only have 1 day off and then it's back to it. This is going to be a huge test for them, just in terms of, you know, they had the huge layoff. So I'm assuming that's why now all these games are coming to attack them. But this just if you're Sheldon Keefe, this is where you kind of make the assessment of who has the durability and who has the strength and conditioning to make it through this, because this is the playoffs basically, where you're playing every other day. So I want to start with you, Adamo. Is there someone that like maybe you're looking for as a guy that you're judging to see how he does, like someone on the Leafs that might be on thin ice, that is like these next 10 games can be a huge boost for them in the lineup?
So I guess by the end of that question, you're referring to maybe a depth player that you want to
like
see?
someone in the bottom six, because like even tonight, the only one who wasn't in the bottom, the only one who scored in the bottom six or even defense was Liljegren. So this was a very top heavy offensive performance.
Just thinking on the spot, I'm gonna go with David Kampf, just because when you get into these games where you tend to get tired, you start cheating for offense, and that's something I don't want to see from our defensive specialist and David Kampf. So I guess like I don't care if David Kampf puts up one goal like he did last year. I do not care, as long as he is that rock center that you could throw out, basically play all teams, maybe not power play, but we saw him, he could play 4-on-4. I don't mind him playing 3-on-3 because he's got wheels if we ever need to shut him down in like a 4-on-3 situation. So I'd say him, maybe Mikheyev. It'd be cool to see him, continue scoring at like a 40-goal pace. I laid down $2 on him tonight. That didn't return me, but yeah.
I put him in the Tim's picks.
I always, whenever Mikheyev's there, because you're always cheering for Ilya Mikheyev, no matter what. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the meme. You just love him.
For sure. And Mario, go to you. Obviously, same question. One guy, preferably a depth piece, because we're at least hoping that the core four is performing at the level that they do in April.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, 10 games in 21 days. The biggest thing about this, the closest thing, I wouldn't say closest thing to playoff hockey, but in the aspect where everyone's got to pick up their pace and everybody's got to get rolling if you want to come out of this on the other side of the woods in a better spot than you were when you headed in. The depth is obviously going to be needed. And one guy, this one's going to sound a little off at first. Wayne Simmons. Not that I want to see more production. I want to see him on the ice. This is the first time I have noticed Wayne Simmons on the ice in the last couple of weeks, just because he dropped the gloves for something that you're supposed to drop the gloves for. And I know he's not going to blow up numbers and be scoring crazy goals, but I need to see a little bit of an increase, because I know it's going to go towards, and you have to think too, I don't want to go down this road either, but if Matthews isn't back, I don't know how serious his injury is going to be. Is he going to be out a couple of weeks? It's going to be a detrimental couple of weeks. You're going to need guys that you're going to have to rely on. And not that Simmons is a guy that you rely on, but he's a guy that you can plug in and get some production from. I think he needs to be getting going, at least at this time now, because I have not seen anything that him deserving 1.3 million. I remember way back in a couple falls ago, he was brought in for toughness. I haven't seen any toughness, no fights that have brought over toughness, not even this one included. So I just want to see more from him. I know I didn't take the most obvious answer, but it's definitely something to look out for. And I'm not expecting too much from Wayne Simmons.
Yeah, for sure. And then Jared, finish us off, and then I'll give my little spiel.
Sorry, does it have to be a forward or just anyone on the team?
No, anyone in general. I'm sorry. I just meant like who's someone who you think needs to, and this can also just be their evaluation period, like someone to get on Sheldon Keefe's radar.
Okay, I think the most obvious answer has to be Peter Marazza, who had a really good game tonight, but in general, he's going to get a lot of starts here because we can't afford to have Jack Campbell be tired. Like, we need him to get settled into the season because he hasn't played a lot, unfortunately, due to a lot of injuries. So I think a big test will be on him, but as well, there's a few guys. I think Justin Hall, he did pick it up a little bit, but he needs to continue picking it up. And the defense for all the defensive guys, I'd say Hall especially, as well as some of the younger guys, Liljegren and Sandin, this next stretch is going to be a huge test for them to kind of get Sheldon Keefe's confidence and stick in the lineup, absolutely, because they need to be reliable defensemen that when we get to a playoff series, Keefe needs to know that he could trust them not to make a careless mistake that could ultimately cost us in a series. So I think the test will be a lot on those guys. And as well, talking about a forward, not that Kasha's been bad. I've actually really liked what I've seen from Kasha, but he needs to pick it up because I think if he could start producing, like maybe he produced more earlier in the season, I think that's a very valuable player for us. And as much as it's not necessarily this next stretch that it's so important for him, in general, moving on to the rest of the season and especially into the playoffs, I think Kasha, not that he has a lot of pressure, but he could very much be a difference maker on this team. And for that reason, as a Leafs fan, I really want to see Kasha kind of prove that Dubas was right in signing him and bringing him along and giving him this opportunity, because I do think he's such a hardworking and a good player that very much could end up being a difference maker. The Leafs ultimately getting done the thing that they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, you stole mine. I was going to say Marazza, and then I was going to switch the question over to, is this the Marazza evaluation period where if you're Kyle Dubas, like, do you look in a mirror and just say, like, is Peter Marazza worth it for the next 2 years? Like, I mean,
You're going to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if he really poops the bed, right? Like in these next, let's say he gets 5 games,
over.
I think I seriously don't think he'll be a Leaf by June then. Like, I think they're going to find a way to get rid of him. And he has a $3.8 million cap. So you're kind of in the middle of backup and starter in terms of AAV. But I seriously think that this Adama would.
No. I have another. Continue talking about Marazza.
No.
I have one more player in mind.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say,
Yeah.
like, if he doesn't perform the way the Leafs need him to, I don't see him living out the 3-year deal in Toronto.
Can I ask this question? What is your not imagination, but what do you want to see from Peter Mrazek? And I'm talking like numbers here. Do you want to see him be blowing everything out, constant wins? Do you want to see more performances like tonight? Where are we going to set the evaluation?
It's the NHL, so I'm not really expecting him to win every start. But let's say he has 5 starts, and if he goes 3-2, but keeps the goals, the GAA at a 2.4 and the save percentage at a 0.92 plus, like. I definitely think that allows him to keep. But if he ends up going, let's say 2-3 with a 3.5 goals against and a sub 900 save percentage, then I'm seriously considering, like, not that he's a liability, but with Jack Campbell seemingly burning out, just it being his first NHL season, like, you got to find something.
And something that doesn't cost that much money on your cap, right? And I think that's
I mean,
really
like, Peter Mrazek at 3.8 isn't a lot, but it's just like still. But Adama, what were you? One last player you were going to mention?
Yeah, one last player. You said how many games? 10 games in 21 days or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Holy crap! I have a lot of hockey coming up. So that means we're going to be rotating players in and out because players. Well, we just saw Matthews was injured. We're going to see players, getting tired. Old age. We got friggin' Spets like almost like able to get a senior discount. I want to see, we have a $2.5 million forward who is scratched. I want to
say his name.
Nick.
Big.
I was going to say Nick Ritchie. I was going to say that.
I want to see Nick Ritchie, dude.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Well, I forgot he was a Leaf. Has he played this year?
Not in the last few.
No, like the calendar year. Do you think he's played a game?
I don't think so.
Probably maybe in there, but I haven't seen it.
I think the Western
Google
trip, I think he was in there.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a Google. And I'm going to try.
The fact that I even have to say I think and I don't know is gives you the answer.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was going to say Nick Ritchie because, I mean, it's not like he's fighting for a contract. I think it's been made abundantly clear that he should have bought an apartment in Toronto because a house would have been a stupid investment. But yeah, I was thinking Nick Ritchie as well. I mean,
well, to answer our question, Nick Ritchie, I go to his game log and there's a server error. Every other player, it's fine. Nick Ritchie, there's a server error on Hockey
That makes
Reference.
So apparently NHL's trying to figure out the same question we are. Has this guy even played?
Well, it says his status is minor for contract.
Oh, Taxi Squad.
Yeah, they put him on the Taxi Squad.
Oh shit! Yeah,
save about 900,000, I believe. You're not saving full money.
No, you're not serving much because he's still on a one-way deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just this month of February, like as we were saying, just a huge month for the Leafs. It's going to be a brutal month, but if they're able to stay afloat, then if they could stay above 500 within this month, I think that would be a huge boost of confidence because it's like you just played an entire month of basically playoff style hockey, not in the sense of the teams that you're playing, but in sense of the luggage that your body is carrying. I definitely think that this is the best time to have it because you're in February, you still have March, a little bit of April, and then playoffs. So I think this is actually the best thing that could happen for Toronto. And it allows Sheldon Keefe and Kyle Dubas to kind of assess the lines as to what they want to do, what they want to roll with. Obviously, with Austin Matthews out, I mean, you can't replace that, but a guy like Mitch Marner, who's been on Fuego, is definitely going to have to continue to step up here. I was going to bring this up later, but I'm anxious to bring it up now. Guys, we've been talking about the playoffs since the regular season started. And, you know, obviously, it's no surprise that the Leafs haven't won a playoff round in a little bit. I wanted to ask you guys, the three big Leaf fans, this question. So I looked on Cap Friendly, beautiful website. Go check it out.
Great.
So in the year 2024, 2025, I'm segueing all the way over there. The only guys that are on contract for the Leafs at that point is Morgan Rielly, Mitch Marner, and John Tavares. And now I'm just thinking, obviously, so Matthews is a UFA. He can re-sign, obviously. Nylander's a UFA. Kerfoot's a UFA. McKayev's a UFA. Jake Muzzin's a UFA that year. TJ Brody's a UFA heading into that in that year as well. I just got to ask you guys. So right now they have basically a 3-year window of where they can win a Stanley Cup before they got to start thinking contracts again. If they don't make it past the first, if they don't even make it to the conference finals this year, do you consider that a disappointing season?
I'll kick it off,
Mario,
and then
you
I'll
can
Take it,
start.
Mario.
Yeah, no, I've lived on this hill, and I have died on this hill throughout this entire season. It is, if they don't, and I've said this before, you could quote me on it, whatever. I'm absolutely serious about this. If they don't make it past the first round this year, and I know it's destined that they're going to make past one, but you absolutely never know with this team. If they don't make it past the first round, you can guarantee someone on that contract list that you just mentioned or in the core four is absolutely gone. And I am not going to have a problem whatsoever if Mitch Marner's off this team, if William Nylander's off this team. I don't care who it is. Someone's getting off because it clearly isn't working if they're going to miss out on the playoff.
That's where I'm heading.
I promise you it won't be Matthews' fault.
No, obviously Matthews, I think, is the one untouchable, but John Tavares isn't an untouchable.
Well, I mean, he's a UFA.
Nylander, depending on what Nylander does in the playoffs, he's maybe an untouchable. Marner is definitely, if he has the playoffs that he's been having in prior years, he's not untouchable whatsoever. I've been saying that forever. It's kind of what I believe in because I've just seen way too much of this team, and they're just never getting complete efforts in the playoffs from the group of guys they have, and a change is absolutely necessary. So I guess go over to you guys, but that's.
But do you consider it? But do you consider this season disappointing if they don't reach the conference finals? Because you got to think, at some point, a guy like Matthews or Nylander, I don't know Marner as much just from being the Toronto kid. I see him as the last person wanting to leave, but I could definitely see an American kid like Austin Matthews wanting to head back to the U.S. I'm not saying obviously with Arizona, but there's definitely an abundance of teams that will have salary cap at that time that will allow for him to sign somewhere else. I'm just thinking like the window's slowly closing here, boys. Jared, what do you think? Mario, do you consider it a disappointing season though if they don't make it to the conference finals this year?
It's a great question, and it's one that I have to sort of put my head and my heart on two different sides. My heart says, as a Leafs fan, I don't care where they go unless they pass around, because I have yet to see that in my life. That's the only thing I've ever really dreamed of seeing, them pass around. I know I get that low, but if I'm really being realistic, it is that bad. Yeah, I know. If I'm being realistic here from a hockey standpoint, I've been watching this team forever. As in recent years, you have to make the conference finals or it's getting a little thin, because you mentioned the window is slowly closing, and for many teams in the Atlantic, it is slowly opening. So you have to kind of figure out where you're standing right now, and this playoff is going to be huge. We say it every year. The playoffs grow every single year. Every single year you don't cash your check or your ticket into the next round, you're going to get more and more intensity. The pressure is going to be climbing immensely. So absolutely, if they don't make the conference final, definitely it's going to be some cause for concern. But just personally, and a lot of Leafs Nation would agree with me, we just want to see one.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying, like,
you're right.
From the
logistical
standpoint, I'm thinking cap-wise, one of them's probably leaving if they don't touch the conference finals within the next 3 years. Jared, I'll ask you, I mean, obviously they just want to win one playoff round, but I think just given the team's success and talent, I definitely think the conference finals is within their reach. Do you consider it a disappointing season if they don't reach that mark?
I think definitely like, it's disappointing, but at the same time, I think they have to win a round. 2 would be great, but I think it's a disappointment if they don't win a round. I'm not going to say they need to make the conference final for it to be a successful season. And if they don't do that, it's a failure, because I don't think that's exactly fair. But in saying that, I'm going to say that the one argument kind of taking away from the Leafs' chances who they're going to have to play, because the Eastern Conference is absolutely ridiculous. But one interesting thing I saw someone made like a TikTok talking about the Leafs' chances, and an interesting point they brought up is the fact that it doesn't matter that they're going to have to go through Tampa Bay, because they last year were gifted the easiest playoff opponent that they're ever going to get, and they dropped the ball. So they have lost all kind of benefit of the doubt. Like, there's no excuse if they can't get it done, as much as we're obviously going to say, okay, they have to play a great team. Yeah. They got rid of that excuse when they dropped the ball against Montreal after having a 3-1 lead. So they have lost a lot of benefit of the doubt from Leafs Nation and from just the entire NHL in general. And overall, as much as I'm going to say they have to win a round for it to be considered successful, just because that's something they haven't been able to do, based on the talent we have on our team. And if we had a different logo on our jersey, I think this team is more than capable of making a conference final. And for that reason, a squad built like ours should have that expectation. But it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know what the storyline is with them. And it's not like a making fun of them thing. It's we know that this team, it's something to do with this franchise. They just haven't been able to get it done when it matters. And for that reason, it's one round. I think take it one round at a time. You have to get through one this year. Something's changing. Absolutely something's changing. Whether it be, I don't think it's a managerial thing. I think it's more players are going to change. But
like at some point, it's got to be the players.
Yeah, I think the players have to get it done. Because I do think Dubas has done a good job assembling a good team. I don't put a lot of the blame on him. But the players have to get the job done. We've enough talent there that we should be a team that is a conference final, even a cup contender. But we're struggling to get through one round. So the pressure's on, absolutely, as it's been for the last few years. But really this year, after last year, us dropping the ball, the pressure's on. We should make the conference final, but I'm going win one round. Bring us to round 2. That's all I'm asking.
Quick answer. It could just literally be one word. Out of the core 4, out of the 2 that are the UFAs first, which is William Nylander and Austin Matthews, if the Leafs don't make a conference final within those next 3 years of when they're a UFA, until the point that they're a UFA, do you see either of those? I'll say for the one word answer, which one of those 2 would you see leaving?
It has to be William Nylander, because I don't see how you move out Austin Matthews. As much as he makes more money, he's the best player on the team, but he's also so marketable. He's Toronto's guy. Like, he's the face of our franchise right now. And I'd be very surprised if the move to fix our team and get us to be a contender is moving Austin Matthews. I just really don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I love William Nylander, but I think
moving on from him.
He's a lot more movable, I'd say, than Matthews.
Yeah. Well, it's more like moving on, not like, but yeah, just in terms of they're not RFAs. So that's the one downfall. Adamo, you've heard all of us spiel.
Yeah.
What's your final word here?
So this year, or even the next couple years, I'll straight up say if they don't win a cup, it's disappointing. This team is 4th in the league in points percentage. Like, what more do you want from them? Like, President's Trophy and Stanley Cup. You have the best goal scorer in the world. You have a guy who was playing like a Vezina candidate, meaning he's capable of doing it. He did it even in the playoffs. I'd say he played like a Vezina candidate.
For sure.
You have probably a top 5 offensive defenseman. You probably have a top 5 playmaker. You have a point-a-game player at $7 million. You have John Tavares as your second-line center. This team can't win a Stanley Cup in the next 2 years.
For 3 years. 3 years.
Shit. If this team can't, I'll put the standard at Stanley Cup final, because how do you not? How do you not? We are one of the 4 best teams in the league right now. Mathematically, that means conference finals. You almost have to be there. So, if we're moving a guy, I've stayed steady on you can't have Mitch Marner's contract in a hard cap. But like Jared said, if you're moving one of Matthews or Nylander, hypothetically, because I don't think either of those 2 would be traded, it's got to be Nylander. And as much as that hurts my heart, I'm a Leaf fan first, but that would make more sense over moving Matthews.
Yeah. And the only reason I just brought this up is just because, look, they could have the possibility of re-signing all of these guys but it could be, you just don't know what the market's going to be like. You don't know like the salary cap could attribute to this, and you just don't know what a guy like Austin Matthews is thinking. He'll be 27 at the end of this contract, so he's definitely in line to get another massive 8-year 100 schmil, I don't know, but like a massive 8-year deal with a team. If the Leafs don't show him any playoff success, I don't see a guy like Matthews, or even a guy. It just reminds me too much of Eichel, where you're leaving a team that just isn't getting you anywhere. And as much as guys want to be loyal to their team, it's the reality of the situation is that a lot of analysts base you off of if you have that ring. And if a guy like Austin Matthews doesn't, they won't obviously attest his skill, but it's just how they might actually, because it's like you're not getting it done when it matters most, and that could just be a backlash to his career that he doesn't want. But to move on to something a little bit more positive, this past weekend obviously was the All-Star weekend in the beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. The Vegas Golden Knights were granted the All-Star game weekend. Friday night was the skills competition, which we all watched together live in person the first time we were all together live. It was a special treat. I thought that the All-Star game was a little, not the All-Star game, I'm sorry, the skills competition was a little underwhelming. Yeah. I thought that the what was it, like the poker or the blackjack game?
22 and 21.
Yeah, that was just, I don't know. It felt so awkward without like any audio, just them like talking. And it felt like it was just like guys that were thrown into a room together that had no idea who they were.
It felt
just
awkward, eh?
Yeah. Conversation definitely felt awkward. Like, I mean, even like parts of the breakaway challenge were a little bit like lame and scripted. I don't know. I've never really watched it. I've never cared for it, but Jared, what did you think of it?
It wasn't all that good. Like, it was fun as an event to get together and watch, but the actual purely talking about what we watched and from an entertainment standpoint, it wasn't all that amazing. I think those new events were very cool from like a scenery perspective and really embracing the Vegas ways, but they just could have been done so much better. And as you mentioned, there was no kind of audio or anything in the background, and for that reason, it felt super forced and awkward, and it just wasn't lighthearted. When you're in the arena and you're witnessing even fastest skate or whatever, there's always music blasting. You hear the environment and the atmosphere of the fans cheering. So it makes it a little bit more normal. But as soon as you step these random guys that are all on different teams, don't interact all that much, as soon as you grab all those guys, take them out of the arena and are just filming them with no music or anything surrounding the atmosphere to build it up, it makes for a super awkward watching experience. And as much as the events could have been really cool, I think they were a lot of fun in theory, but I purely think that one simple thing, add background music, and it would have made the event from a 5 out of 10 to even an 8 out of 10. I think the events were cool. I think they were a lot of fun, and the guys seems to be joking around a little bit and laughing along a little bit, but
they were hammered. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Gaudreau looked hammered when he like came out. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my God. You see, like Pete DeBoer was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of sloshed during that.
But they
all I think the events were cool, but they just needed to add for those outdoor ones some kind of atmosphere and music. Yeah. Even if you're playing music during it, they're all drunk.
Play Viva Las Vegas.
Exactly. Like, just have like an Elvis impersonator like come fuck with them. Like, just stupid things to embrace the Vegas ways. I think it was a cool thing. It was fun to watch it, but they didn't do a great job. I'd say the NHL, they didn't drop the ball. It was fine. It was watchable, but there was a few moments. Especially, I'm happy they brought the breakaway challenge back. That was easily the best event. But fucking John Hamm, he gave Pietrangelo, because obviously the hometown guy, and he's a St. Louis fan, so he's the St. Louis fan.
Yeah.
And he gave Pietrangelo a 19, and they counted it in the standings, and they made Pietrangelo win the competition when both Hughes and Zegras did some cool shit. Like, Hughes obviously brought a little kid out there, and it was awesome. It was a fun thing. They did a synchronous, like they threw their stick up together, recreating that celebration. And then Zegras did one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The fact that he wasn't actually selected as an all-star and was only brought in as a quote-unquote guest is ridiculous, because that guy single-handedly made the event amazing. He came out there wearing the dodgeball outfit, like the average Joes. You got the mascots throwing balls at him while he did a
sick.
one-handed like lacrosse goal. It was awesome, and he somehow didn't win the event because celebrity judges. Yay,
Haters.
Petrangelo, you won a cup for my team. Give him a 19 out of 10, and they count it, and then he wins the thing. And I'm not a betting guy, so it didn't bug me. But for someone who actually bet on that competition, if I had my money lost because some celebrity judge gave someone a 19, I would be pissed. But in general, yeah, that's all I really have to say. It's fine. Like it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was very underwhelming just based on the hype of it, just it being Las Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas Strip and all that. But Adamo, what was your assessment of it? You made some money, I believe, on some of the.
Very did not. That would be the guy at the bottom
Coach.
left.
Usually how it goes.
We forgetting about what happened in the Team Canada game?
I was gonna bring it up in mine, but
yeah. So back to the All-Star game. Let's start with the All-Star skill contest. We watched it all together in my basement. It was a ton of fun.
Great.
That made it a lot better because I had a feeling if I was watching that alone, I don't think I'd make it through.
Turned it off right away.
It was kind of boring. Honestly, the breakaway contest, that was awesome. Like what Trevor Zegras did, one take, blindfolded, the one hand, it was perfect. It looked so clean. It looked like one of those YouTube videos, or not those, those little Instagram videos where like Zach Bell's throwing the stick and flipping it and shit. But in one live take, I thought that was the most impressive thing. The mini Jack Hughes, that was nice. I liked that one. I know we're talking about the breakaway challenge because that's the only thing I can remember because it was the only thing that like mattered. It was the only thing that like I can remember we all were like, oh, this is fun. Kreider scored a pretty nice goal too. You guys remember on the save streak? He moved.
Oh my god,
Vasilevsky. That was funny. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But like I feel like I'm grasping at straws here, man. Like nothing else really happened. Like the All-Star game, I didn't see a single Michigan attempt. What the fuck? Not one. Like I don't know. I guess it was a fun experience for the guys to go get hammered. So, sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, Mario, I don't know if it just seems like we're kicking the dead body right here. I mean, I don't know what else there is.
I like that the way they expressed Vegas, they tried, which is pretty cool. You don't see, I think it was the first All-Stars game I've seen in a little bit where they're actually trying to express the city. And I mean, Vegas is an easy target too. Like shine the colors on, but I don't think the execution was there. Like you guys have all mentioned, those games were 21 and 22 was brutal. What else? The other one where I think in the fountain face off or something like that. Yeah, that was pretty weird as well. I didn't like the commentating on that part, but I don't know. I gained a big following now with Jack Hughes. I loved what he did. That was a terrific thing. The breakaway challenge was probably one of the best things I've seen in this game in the last 10 years. Like that was a great thing to watch. I think Zegras, that move that he put on, that's like the Vince Carter dunk of hockey. Let's just say I have not seen anything as good in a breakaway competition since what Trevor Zegras did. That you're not on a first attempt too, like you mentioned, Adamo. It's ridiculous, but there's not. You guys kind of stole the floor. I lost money, as Adamo noted. Never
gained and lost, I should say.
Pardon me?
Did you just lose? Were you just negative?
No, I went positive. I was betting with free money, so it was nothing bad. But I made $10 on Kairu, and then I lost $5 on Team Canada at the 1:30 a.m. because my betting book here told me it was one goal.
To be fair, they didn't even score one, so you were going to lose regardless.
Hey. Yeah, and they took 2 penalties in the matter of like 20 seconds after you.
For anyone wondering, we were talking about betting the handicap line, which is only
we are
out
18
in
by the way. We are 18.
Yes, 18, turning 19 soon.
Before we get arrested
in Ontario as well.
Incriminate ourselves.
Ontario. We were talking about the 10.5 handicap in a hockey game. Like I don't think there was I think only the Thunder and Golden State Warriors tonight had a bigger line than that hockey game. It was incredible.
I've never seen a hockey game like be that, like where you're giving Canada 11 goals already. Like That was, I think the US and Canada play each other
Tonight
tonight, big game.
in about 20 minutes. Yeah, I'll be watching.
Evan, I'm not your friend anymore after 11 o'clock. Put it
No,
that
this
way.
is the,
All right, well
this is
then-
the big hockey game that I
know.
care about the Olympics.
I mean,
it's
this
a
is
good
it.
storyline.
Can I ask one
Yeah.
question? And this one I think is a pretty cool one to answer. After
for
the
it,
skills
host.
competition, host for the next time. But who's the face of the game right now? Has anything changed from the All-Star Game skills competition that
I think it's
sways your
still
opinion?
Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid?
Well,
McDavid's
actually,
the best
no,
player,
because-
but he's so boring.
No, he's so
Oh,
boring.
did
I think
you
the
guys- I need
face
to
of the
say-
league is. I feel like it's actually Trevor Zegras. Just
That's-
like the
To me, it is. Yeah.
It could be,
Like
which is
he's-
kind of
he's
sad.
improving
No, no,
every
no,
from
I
an
mean,
entertainment standpoint,
from an
yeah, but
entertainment
yeah,
standpoint,
a
he
rookie on the
definitely-
Anaheim Ducks is now the face of the NHL. From an entertainment standpoint, absolutely. 'Cause McDavid's so boring. And Matthews is fun, but they didn't utilize him well. Like, why did they send him outside in that awkward event when they could have had him ripping shots on accuracy shooting?
Or
he did the
Connor
accuracy
McDavid.
shooting in San Jose, and he absolutely tore it up with Marlowe's jersey on.
Oh, I
You know,
remember.
that.
Connor McDavid didn't touch a puck that night.
He didn't even do the
He
breakaway.
didn't,
Like
he didn't touch a puck. How the fuck did that happen?
no,
The
like,
best
he
hockey
get-
player didn't
yeah.
hockey. He speed skated. What the
He-
hell?
And not
He
very good
lined
at
up
it either.
he lined up for like the breakaway challenge, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way,
Oh.
we're done now."
They
And it was-
clickbaited him.
I was just like, "What?" Like, I felt so bad for anyone who actually like bought a ticket to that. Like, I would never. I think
You
it's
wouldn't go
just
back?
it's just as entertaining to go see it on the couch as it is to go. And I've had experience. I went to the one in LA. I fortunately didn't have to pay for it, but if I did, I definitely would have regretted it the second I walked in. It's just it reminds me of the Pro Bowl almost in the NFL, where it's like you want to see these stars, but like no one's playing to their full potential because they're all hammered and just don't want to, like, everyone's too concerned about injury that like they don't want to do
Football, I
something
get.
stupid.
But they
Dude,
could make
but
it a
the
little bit
Pro
better.
Bowl, did you
It was
see
bad.
that?
I tuned in for a bit. It was really
Like,
Yeah.
I don't need,
Oh.
I think one tackle was made and it was on
Yeah.
Hunter Renfro, like in the fourth quarter. Like they were just playing flag football.
Yeah.
I honestly
That's
rather
probably-
be
I think
flag
that's what they should
football.
be. Why not, man? Let the quarterbacks go.
I don't know. It's just like you're paying to see the best players and they're half-assing it. It's like,
True.
it's like, dude, like if
It's
someone,
not worth the price of admission, that's for sure.
yeah, it's not worth the price of admission. And like there was just a lot of backlash on it. And I don't know. Guys, I know we obviously want to watch the US and Canada game. So I just want to wrap it up here with this final thought. And it could be another hot take, but it's nothing. No, it's
Love
nothing
his
that's
hot
like
takes.
egregious. It's nothing egregious. It's just honestly, it could just be like a question. But
I dropped the ball.
you know,
At least you
given,
don't have any spider tech.
no, given the scheduling of the Leafs, it's unfortunate just with the COVID situation. Do you still see them having a shot at winning the division? I mean, there's still teams like Florida who's a little bit digressing,
And why do you do this to
especially
me?
on the road because they suck on.
Always posing the tough
I was also
questions.
going to say, shoot, my bad. The Hurricanes, when scoring first, were 22-3-1 heading into tonight.
Hey,
I was going to write that note down because I was listening to the radio version of it for a little bit. But I mean, if I've completely forgot about that just until now when we were
Yeah.
talking about all the different teams. But just another credit to the Leafs. Finally, I hope this isn't just like an inconsistent stretch where they pull up next game. I think it's like New York or something, and then they drop the ball there, similar to Mario just now. But I'll just a quick little spiel. I'll just go from Mario to Jared to Adamo. Do you see them winning or still a shot at winning the division? I mean, it would definitely help them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a shot, and they're going to have to go pretty wholeheartedly in taking it over this next stretch. I noticed, I took a glance before we hopped on at the schedule that they have in February. It's nothing crazy against like big teams. They have a lot of middle of the pack, bottom tier teams. So hopefully they're
sorry. Their next game's against Calgary. They're doing a little Canadian.
Exactly.
They go from Calgary,
one back?
Vancouver, Kraken,
Hey.
Pittsburgh.
I guess those were the
Blues
missed
is their
games.
next
I'm
fight.
excited for a cracking game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, are these late night games?
Yeah, it might be a
Hell
Blues game, not a
yeah.
big deal.
I'm a big late night guy game.
Everyone is, but
But yeah,
go on.
Your
No,
point.
no, yeah,
looking at
exactly.
The schedule, not a
So-
lot of tough games, but still back to backs.
Absolutely. And you have to win them if you want to have that shot. Personally, I don't believe they're going to do it. I think the other two teams are a lot more well-rounded, a lot more better structured, better coached. You name it. They're just the more better team that I think are going to take home the cake by the end of the year. By the time we hit springtime, they'll be leading that division. So I don't think the Leafs are going to win it. Maybe the stretch is going to change my mind. Maybe they're going to be looking like a much more mature team that we didn't see in that last month that we talked about in the last show. Everything can change. And this light, please, I hope it does change and stop shutting off on me. But
It's going up and down.
It's ridiculous. But no, if the Leafs want to have a decent shot, you're going to have a really good month. It's not going to be like we talked about before, 500 hockey or just over 500 hockey. You got to be slaying, coming out of these gates and killing the opposition and putting up, I don't know how many games they play. You said 10, so 8-2.
10 games in 21 days.
8-2. If you can manage to do that, maybe you're going to have a shot. I know it's a big task, but the other teams that you're going to be pushing are great teams. So,
all right. And then Jared talked about the schedule. Leafs, 4 of their next 5 games, they head on a little bit of a road trip and then come back to Toronto. They have Calgary, Vancouver, the Kraken. They got teams like Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Minnesota's in this. Washington is in this. They end the month with Washington. I mean, as much as we like to say, they still don't have a lot of gimme games, but granted, no game in the NHL is a gimme game.
Really?
I'll ask the question again, though. Do you still think that they have a shot at winning the division?
Absolutely, they do. I mean, I have the standings in front of me, so I'm going to say that, okay, the Leafs currently have 3 less games played than the Lightning and 4 less games played than the Panthers. They're currently tied with the Lightning in wins, and they're currently down by 2 with Florida has 4 more games played. Florida has 32 wins and Toronto has 30. So, I mean, we're still in the mix there, and we're not down in the points race by too much. The Leafs are currently playing, as much as it's not perfect hockey, I'm not going to say we're playing amazing hockey, but credits them that they're on a 6-game winning streak. We're getting the wins and we're finding ways to win games. We are doing well right now. And as much as sure, February is going to be a very busy month, I actually don't hate that because, I mean, some of our best hockey was earlier in the season. I'd say November, obviously, was our best month in franchise history. We were playing games pretty much every other night, and it wasn't a bad thing that everyone was kind of getting into this consistent groove. I actually think it's the long break that threw us off our game. Sure. Because when we were playing games pretty much every night, we were playing some of our best hockey of the season. So for that reason, I don't think it's impossible that we could have another good month, get settled in. Hopefully, Jack gets back when he starts playing games more regularly. Hopefully Jack gets back to the way he was playing. And hopefully now it's a little bit more of a tandem where Marazza could find his consistency too. And in general, we're right there in the wins race and in the points race. We have games in hand because of obviously the COVID misses. And we are winning games despite, say what you want about how we're playing right now. We're finding ways to win games. We're one of the best teams in the league. We're one of the best teams in the division. And as much as say what you want about our playoff chances, just because of the fact that we wear a maple leaf on our jersey, we are a really good team that absolutely, I'd say we're in the mix to win this division. And if we do, I think that's a very good sign because I do not want to play the Lightning or the Panthers whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, them winning the division obviously gives them the best chance of making it past the first round. They won the division last year. You know how that turned out. But, anything can happen still. And I think if you're the Leafs, it's just getting over the hump. And then who knows? Like this can turn into a Cinderella story. But I think it's just getting over the hump's the huge issue. Adamo, you can end it off. Leafs winning the division.
I think they can. Hockey's stupid. I genuinely think they can. But there's a big variable there. I will say that. Obviously, we don't know how long our best player is out. There's a noticeable impact when he's out. And I think that's where I'll be extra critical of Mitch Marner. See if he can drive his own line. Because another reason I've been critical of him is because I don't think he can drive his own line. But who knows? Maybe he can prove it wrong to me. Maybe over the offseason, he's been working on his skating. Maybe he's faster. He's always working on his shot. Oh, hey, guys. Maybe we'll see another, hey, guys, Mitch Marner was working on his slap shot this season. He's working on his one-timer. Maybe we'll see one of those goals again. He scores like a second annual goal, if that's a thing, which would be pretty cool. Even Nylander, he's been extremely quiet. I feel like you got to feel bad for him tonight, eh? God, when you're in a slump and you just want to see it go in, it's never a pretty goal that breaks a streak. And that was the furthest thing from a pretty goal.
Well, they gave it to Matthews.
Yeah,
it was
That's what
his,
he's
and
saying.
he
Like, he
lost
feels
it.
bad that he
Like,
got
you
one. He
hear
got
it-
the monkey off his
Oh,
back, only to
okay.
hear it
I'm so
announced
saying.
as actually they're
You
giving
hear
him
it
one.
I'm
announced
sorry,
Lily
I'm sorry.
Nylander, and then
I was
Matthews
confused with where
steals
you were
it.
going
Like
with
it was
this.
like a centimeter off too.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was puck was on the
It's tight.
goal line.
Mhm.
I'm cool. I had Matthews over 2 points, so I was over the moon. Yeah, so it just sucks to be Nylander. Hopefully he picks it back up because
Yeah.
I still don't doubt he can be this team's second best player because he has all the tools to do it.
And you do bring up a great point. I think it is very, very noticeable when Austin Matthews is out of the lineup. And I think this is a real test for Mitch Marner to go prove that the dollars that he asked for are going to be well spent. I mean, he's on an 8-game point streak right now. We saw, I mean, at the beginning of the year when Matthews was dealing with the wrist injury, which seems to be a constant nag for him each year. Marner looked non-existent, and it just, even guys like Tavares and Nylander just looked out of groove, and it really looks like that Austin Matthews should be wearing the C, which I thought should have happened. But this is just a huge test, even for a guy like John Tavares, who I had just mentioned, did not look. He looked out of groove and looked like he had just got traded to the team. But no, I think we can end it off there. I think it is fair to say that the Leafs can definitely win this division. I mean, it's a dog race to the end, and they're unfortunately and fortunately in a tough division where they're forced and expected to bring A+ every night, which helps them but can also hurt them because then it leaves them with an unfortunate seeding that just leads to more unfortunate habits that we continue to see. But no, I think this was a great episode. And Mario, is there something you wanted to say?
Yeah,
or?
this is an easy one. Eat your waffles, chocolate chips, baby.
Oh,
they make the goals go in the back of the
Thank you for
net.
the title.
Dude,
Woo!
I smelt waffles, and as soon as I the ding, I think
How did
Matthew
you make
scored.
those? Do you guys have a toaster?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I brought a toaster up.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
want.
Jared brought us toast.
That's a necessity.
As soon as I heard ding, I think 20 seconds later or something, Matthews scored, and then
No. I'm the reason we won the game tonight. There's no question.
Jared shows up into the locker room. All right, listen up, fuckers. That Eggo waffles. The reason why you won this game.
Literally, I watched the goal go in. I went to get my food. I put it in during a commercial break. I hear the ding, so I walk out to get it. As I'm in my doorway over there, I see us scoring. As I just walk back into my thing. So I'm like, no, the waffles are the reason.
It's
And then they scored 3 minutes later.
And then they were on fire after that. I couldn't crack the back of the net until I made my waffles.
And he's doing it the next game. And then if it works the game after that, it's just gonna keep on.
I'm gonna become like an Eggo sponsor.
Yeah, we're going to Metro after this, and we're pulling Dylan, and we're buying every single
one
box
on the shelf
of chocolate Eggos. And you think we're lying? They're gonna need to reorder.
No, I'm not kidding, Jared. The next Leaf game, you're eating waffles. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of
no, laugh and matter.
When I went to Kings games and stuff, they would have my dad was in the media room, whatever. They would have the ice cream bar or whatever. It's every game you gotta go, and then they ended up winning. And then, scratch that. It wasn't that. During the Stanley Cup final run in 2012, Pia Toscano. Do you know who that is? Singer. It's an American singer, so I don't know how worldwide. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That point doesn't matter. But she was singing every game that she sang during the playoffs. For Kings home games, they won, and the games that she didn't sing in at home, the Kings lost. So everyone kept screaming, "Bring her back!" And then she was there for the Stanley Cup final, and against New Jersey, I don't think we lost. I think we won all of our games at home. I don't think we lost. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, but regardless, it was something like that.
I don't remember.
Anyway, we'll end it on that. The Leafs are finally playing 60-minute hockey, which is great.
Woo.
Mitch Marner is finally living up to the $11 million that he makes somehow.
$11 million.
Peter Marazza is going to get tested within the next month. A lot of new tests are coming for the Leafs in terms of leadership, discipline, durability. That falls in the category of strength and conditioning as well. Great episode. I was so pleased to host it. I got my own little hosting gig. I'm doing the play-by-play on Wednesday. So if anyone wants to go,
I'm writing for it, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm there.
6 p.m.
Yeah, Wednesday night.
We're doing we're doing the women's basketball game. I somehow got thrown into being the play-by-play announcer for it.
I'm tuning in. I'm
Yeah,
sitting
I'll
very.
over.
I'm sitting
Oh,
very.
I'm
close.
down there.
Yeah,
Right
Mario,
over.
make sure you get my good side. I might have to switch.
Like,
Make sure you get my
sneak me a stat sheet. I'm gonna need a bunch of those.
All right, for sure. But that concludes tonight's episode. I'm excited to
1
see where the
hour,
Leafs
2
go.
minutes, the big 19. Had to slip that in there somehow.
It's Jared's
It's your birthday tomorrow. Oh shit, yeah.
Oh,
you're
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
Maybe we
we
drag this out another hour, so I'm on the pod for the big B day.
all
right.
right. Well, everyone wish Jared a happy birthday. I'll be giving his punches in an hour and 2 minutes. Good luck. All right, thank you guys.
see ya.